ISL Prime League.
Ladies and gentlemen, apparently I cannot understand what Trig says just before we intro this game, as we do have spawning in the bottom left-hand corner the green Zerg player who hopefully has better hearing than me. This is Tefel, representing Dignitas.
Oh yes, and his opponent, representing Axiom, is the red Terran in the top right. It is Hot!
Going for that CC first. And what a map to do it on. Because, of course, playing against a Zerg, they would love to get counterattacks, to get surrounds, to do all of those wonderful, devious things. But on a map like Moonlight Madness, when you take that pocket expansion as your natural, they gotta either go through the main, or they gotta bust down a bunch of rocks. Those rocks are probably armored. Yeah, 3 armor?
Yep, 3 armor.
Nobody wants to attack that. What a map.
That being said, though, Lings actually do kind of take those out surprisingly quickly. You can get a lot of surface area on those rocks. I think more so than any rocks that anybody has ever seen in any game ever.
Probably. They're quite wide.
It's not just so much about about the width. You see rocks that wide have been seen before, but the ones closer in towards the base, you've got that edge as well, so you can get a little bit of a surround, and they die in like only a minute or so. Only
a minute or so. Yeah, certainly committing a lot of Lings early on to try to do those attacks, to try to get back in towards that natural. Whereas here, of course, you can just wall off the main ramp, and you're a bit safer. And then, of course, you're kind of forcing the Zerg to go out of position to head over onto the left side of the map and kind of work through those rocks. And as you say, you can take them down, but if you want to get that full surround, that's going to be a lot of Lings. So that's something that, of course, Tefel has to think of. And, of course, it's something that Hart has thought of. He's a professional player. He knows this stuff. And, of course, Tefel, we expect pretty much the same from him. So we expect these guys to be playing to the map. We know that Hart has. What does Tefel have in store, though?
We will have to see a little. I think we could see some roaches again. Actually, you know what? I would have liked to say that, but I've just kind of looked at what he's actually doing, and I think it's more likely we're going to see some Mutalisk play out for him, but I'm still going to hope for roaches. He actually hasn't put down those gases in natural yet, so that's going to be... It's getting towards a little too late for that, if he's going Mutalisks. This is interesting.
2 gas Mutalisk. You just get 2 Mutas, and then you call...
Okay, no, there they are.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, he starts them.
Fair enough.
So yeah, he rounds out his 3 extra gases. Of course, he took his first gas much earlier on. And for Hart, he's got lots of options. One of those options, well, we'll have to see what it actually involves. It's going to be straight into Stim. So he's got that Pulp Viking on the way. He didn't go for anything crazy early on. Of course, when you go 14cc, you typically don't go for anything crazy early on. Mm-hmm. So it's just pretty much the 2 Hellions, and then of course after that, we're gonna be, keeping an eye on exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, and these Mutas are going to be crazy fast. That was worth mentioning as well. Tefel actually started ranged attacks and then cancelled it. With the Roach Warren in the front, it's very possible that Hart is a bit worried about a Roach attack or something, and that's the opposite of what he needs to be thinking about right now. If Tefel starts that +1 attack again, it looks like he might be building some Roaches. This is going to cut into his Mutalisk production quite a lot. +1/+1 is a Mutalisk. These 3 Roaches are nearly another Mutalisk. So we'll see he's only going to have enough gas for like 5 or 6 Mutalisks when this finishes. And that's a little less. Usually you see like 8 is kind of the magic number. But as it is. He's just going to start off with these 6 and see how much damage he can get done. Hart, though, is moving out with the 4 Hellions. And going to see what damage he can get done with dropping those in towards third base.
He's got that Pult Viking as well, just trying to be annoying as possible. Gonna get himself a couple of drone kills here. Gonna head directly into the main base, and of course in this particular case his engineering base finished up a good while ago, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He's got pretty good warning about exactly when the mutas are popping on out, so he should be able to start missile turrets in time. He's got 2 on the way, and he knows that this attack is coming in. Tefel did a pretty darn good job of trying to fake out Hart, of trying to sell him hardcore roaches when actually it's mutas.
Yeah, but unfortunately those Hellions came in just the right time, and just loses a Muta there, and every Muta really hurts when he's got so few. He really wants to keep these alive, keep them as cost efficient as possible as he transitions more towards roaches. But taking out the supply depot is really valuable because it'll actually deny Hart quite a bit of vision if he doesn't replace it. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see him do that, because taking out that supply depot also telegraphs a little, I'm going to make an attack through this rocks. I don't want you to know I'm going to make an attack through this rocks. But we'll see. A couple of roaches here can get cleaned up by this bio, but they can trade themselves out for at least a bit of a few marines.
Gonna try to target down that Marauder, won't quite be able to get it. Of course, the Marines stay alive as well with the healing power of those medevacs. Mutas, of course, always have to be very, very careful. As you mentioned, he's got a low muta count for now. He's adding on roaches and hydras. He's not swelling that muta count out to 30 or anything crazy like that. For now, he's just keeping it at the 6, which, of course, means, like you were kind of referencing in one of the other series, more for, you know, poking, prodding, counterattacks, trying to find those weaknesses, not for the overwhelming mass kind of pushes. So he has to be so careful.
Absolutely, and fair few roaches out here now, but this oh, that's bad. This wall starts to work against you a little bit as you want to take an engagement through this choke, but you can't really actually engage cost efficiently. But he engages with the broodlings. That's going to help him out a little bit, pulling drones off the line in good time before it becomes a little bit too late. Although a lot of those drones are going to go down. He should push this back with more reinforcements coming out of Hart, and that siege tank just continuing to keep its value. It looks like Hart is actually going to push onwards strongly here and give take down Tefel's natural and force him to defend again at the ramp, and he can't do that. GG, game 1 with the Hart. Number 2 of the final match of the night or day, depending where you are, or possibly even evening. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our green Zerg player representing Team Dignitas. It is Tefel.
And in the top left-hand corner, he's currently leading this best-of-3 series with 1 point. This is Axiom Hart.
Yes, and obviously he wants the win here. Wants to secure his place in the round of 16, and he did manage to make it through to the round of 4 last season, if I remember correctly. So he's looking to at least match that. And as you say, Hart, not somebody who's actually managed to secure a individual league, a 1v1 championship. So he is definitely hungry for that, and hoping that ASL is the place he can do it. As he opens up, looks like a Reaper again.
And going on that, unlike Pult, who of course traveled outside of America long before the region lock, Hart was one of those Koreans who did quite well in WCS America, reaching a top 4 finish in Season 2, a top 2 finish, being defeated only by Bomber, the champion in Season 3. So he did quite well for himself outside of Korea. Now, he of course has to compete against the best of the best, and it's of course absolutely a brutal fight for him. So A win here in ASL Prime would certainly mean something for him. It would be that 1v1 league win that he would be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty hungry for that, but for now, he's just going to be opening up with Reaper. Pretty relaxed for now. The CC following it up, and probably a factory just coming down about now. Okay, never mind. He's building a supply depot instead. That's good too. You need supply depots for building units. And then the reactor comes up. But yeah, so far Hart is playing very, very cautiously with his Reapers. It's interesting. The two Terran players in the group, Hart and Pult, play extremely different styles. Hart, obviously, unknown mech player. Mech is so much, it's the antithesis of Pult's style. It's much more laid back. It's much more kind of defensive, getting a big army and then attacking with it all in one place. Whereas Pult, he loves his drops. He loves little groups of units fighting on their own and multitasking and just poking in and playing from behind, really, is Pult's biggest strength. I think everyone would agree. He's just so good at picking apart people who have advantages against him and turning them against him. But whereas Hart, he's going to open up 3CC in this game. This actually, ironically, looks much more like a Pult opening. But we'll see how well it serves him.
As you say, there are some key differences between something like these two, like the two matches that we saw. So far, very, very similar. In fact, it's basically the same opening for Tefel. And of course, the main difference for Hart is that he is going for that starport. Up to now, Factory, CC, all of the timings have been approximately the same as they were for Pult. But now we've got a starport in the place of the two additional racks that came down for Pult in game number 1 of the Winners Series. Hart is going to be moving on out with potentially his 2 Hellions. He's had that Reaper out on the map, running around, looking for that control.
Yeah, and now with those 2 Hellions moving out as well, they're just going to be chillaxing up the Watchtower for now, most likely until the next 2 join up with them. But Tefel with his double Evo chamber wall in here, along with that Roach Warren, it's looking much more like his Roach Hydra style he brought to the table against Pulp. On this map, no less. So we'll see how well it serves him. But Hart, 4 medevacs. Oh, sorry, 4 Hellions in a medevac. Going to be dropping in here, and Tefel is 100% ready with the Roaches. But yeah, it depends. They might still be able to get a little damage done, but probably not too much.
Hart, of course, going to be looking for just a couple of drone kills. He's going to be getting a good scout on pretty much everything that his opponent is doing. He technically, well, just now he sees that second Evo chamber. He gets the full scout off. He's going to be heading over to the 3rd base as well. He did scout that while it was constructing, so he's got a bit of intel there. And, I mean, he's going to be starting his 2 engineering bays. We'll have to see, does he decide to drop any bunkers? So far, it's just the 5 Roaches and more drones coming out from Tefel. He's not just yet ready to move out, but in the next, 7-ish minutes, because the attack against Pult hit around that 15-minute mark, we still have a couple of minutes to go, a couple of upgrades to go until Tefel is ready for, if he's going for a similar attack.
Yeah, so that does give Hart a little bit of time to prepare. But again, with the 3CC opening, just about any 3CC opening is pretty weak against this. Unless you open very defensively with tanks, it can be extremely tough to hold off some kind of 1-1 Roach or Roach Hydra timing. But Hart does have a tech lab on his factory, so we'll see as it finishes up what the unit he produces out of that is. And that'll kind of depend on how able he is, or that'll affect how able he is to actually hold off this attack from Tefel. But for now, Tefel, nice saturation across all of his bases, looking to start building up his unit count. Doesn't actually have roach speed just yet, but should be starting it fairly soon, and then it'll finish up alongside his upgrades. But there it is. So yeah, it'll finish up just after, but only just. And tanks are on the way from Hart, by the way, so it's possible he'll be able to hold this off, certainly in better fashion than Polk. But that will remain to be seen. A little Hellion run by in the third doesn't get too much done.
He's got more of the tools that he needs to deal with this. Number one, he's spotted that Hydra den, so he knows that that is on the way. And actually, he's going to be taking a couple of pot shots at these Overlords. Just being annoying. Does actually get transfused a little bit there, but we're starting to see that big build-up of roaches and hydras. It's going to be 20 roaches, 10 hydras will soon be out on the map. We've got our attack upgrades, our defense upgrades going to be finishing up, and then, of course, roach speed and hydra range going to be coming up relatively soon over the next couple of minutes. All of these key upgrades for Tefel going to be finishing, but for now, Hart is looking to disrupt the flow.
Yes, he is, and he is definitely going to manage to do. Force some complete pull out of the main base, and it's possible to even get the lair. Although, Tefel's entire army across the map, he's not moving back to defend this at all. And Hart, with his 2 siege tanks, this is going to be so tough for Tefel to break. He's going to move up for it anyway. But Hart has plenty by going to stim it, move back a little bit, allow his bunker to tank most of it. And the third siege tank coming in now is going to put the nail in the coffin for Tefel, I feel. He just can't play into that. GG, he says. And Hart takes him down and will advance on to the round of 16 alongside Pult and 2 Terrans advancing the group.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.